Well, the guys are already seated in the studio and are ready to do justice to all the topics we have for you this morning. Of course, there is no way to start down the Ghana Premier League. Yesterday, one game was held in Tarkwa, and Midiama SC defeated Vision FC by 3-1. And this afternoon, or tomorrow, in fact, this afternoon's game between Dreams FC and Nswatriman FC has been cancelled following Nswatriman FC's withdrawal from the Ghana Premier League. But the rest of the games will see Young Apostles playing Baseke Holy Stars. And Bechem United will be welcoming Legon Cities to the Nana Fosu Jebo Park. Ediana Stars will be up against Brekum Chelsea. That game will be played at the Golden City Park. And the Nations FC will welcome Accra Lions to the Dr. Kwame Chase Sports Complex. Heart of Lions will also welcome FC Samatex, who are champions of the Ghana Premier League in Samaboy. And league leaders BBN Gold Stars will be engaging Karela United. But then the biggest game, of course, is that one between Accra House of Folk and Kumasi Asante Kotoko tomorrow at the Nations Wembley Accra Sports Stadium. Well, I have the guys with me in the studio to talk. House of Folk and Kumasi Asante Kotoko. Good morning, Larry. I see you are cladded in your in your Liverpool jersey. It looks like the celebrations are still not over for Liverpool. I mean, 20 times Premier League champions, 2 times champions of the Premier League in the modern Premier League era.
If you were the one that won the Premier League, will you celebrate in 1 week?
Well, I mean, of course, I'll definitely be celebrating over. But then, you know, back in the day, it was a regular team for United.
It's the way you used to say back in the day for me. You know, I mean, Liverpool used to also say back in the days, and you are the same people who were coming for our head that we should win it. Right now, you are saying back in the day.
Well, I mean, it's nothing special.
It's like 13 years since you have this feeling, look, man.
I mean, we reached 20 before Liverpool.
No, so, but it's been 13 good years. Do you remember the last time you lifted the Premier League?
Enjoy it while it lasts. Anyways,
we will enjoy it. We'll enjoy it. Thank you, Lukman.
Week?
Oh, it's been a wonderful week. I mean, we're still back in the Premier League, you know. I'm in my shirt here. Those watching online, you can see the studios, you know, and we are reveling in it. We are looking forward to the trophy presentation. Actually, Liverpool fans in Ghana will meet up and have a watch along, and we'll have our miniature trophy here just to enjoy the moment. So we are preparing towards that. But it's been a good week. We've enjoyed the football. We are looking forward to the local scene.
Well, so I also have Jonathan in the studio. Jonathan, good morning.
Good morning, Lukman.
Well, I mean, Barcelona didn't get that win, but then it was one of the best games in the UEFA Champions League this season. 6 goals, very good football. But then, anyways, we are not talking about Barcelona yet. How was your week?
My week was very good. You know, everything was successful for me because nobody thought we would even survive against Inter Milan, but we had a draw. We put that one aside. Yeah, no one thought we will survive against them.
Fake humility, challenge.
Fake humility, big one, fake one. Anyways, I also have Teddy with me in the studio. Teddy, good morning. I mean, it was a good week, of course, for Chelsea. Unfortunately, whether you win the Conference League, you won't find any way back into the UCL unless you qualify directly from the Premier League. How was your week?
Oh yeah, my week has been good, and I must congratulate Liverpool for emerging champions of the Premier League, and also the English clubs have been doing very well in Europe this season. So, and the Champions League has given us some, you know, enlightening moments. So we look forward to another week. So my week has been a good one.
Well, I mean, it's been a good week for my people in the studio. For the interesting part of all that is happening, especially with European football for me, is that Man United have suddenly made the Europa League a big competition. And it's something that we have to admit. I mean, it is the biggest club in the world. And so if things like this are happening, it shouldn't be any surprising. But then we are here to talk about Accra House of Folk and Kumasi Asante Kotoko. I mean, Marvin, are you surprised with the publicity of this game? I mean, I wanted us to talk more about the football itself, but then I think it will be fair if we look at it from the marketing point of view. I mean, it is Accra House of Folk and Kumasi Asante Kotoko. I remember some few years ago, before the game between Accra House of Folk and Kumasi Asante Kotoko, you will see on every taxi driver's car or back of their car the flags of Accra House of Folk and Kumasi Asante Kotoko. I mean, in shops you will see flags of Accra House of Folk and Kumasi Asante Kotoko hanging everywhere. It tells you the weekend is up for that big game between Accra House of Folk and Kumasi Asante Kotoko. But as we speak, I mean, unless maybe on radio, even on social media, when you go through the trends, there is no House of Folk and Kumasi Asante Kotoko. How bad have we fallen when it comes to this fixture in particular?
You know, look, man, sometimes I feel, we could do something to help the FA and the Ghana football to, improve on this publicity and marketing and gain the whole attention and the euphoria around these games for these kind of matches again. But you can't help but even look at what the FA themselves are doing. I have not seen any FA spokesperson or media person doing rounds even towards this game. When you go and ask them, they will tell you that this is the responsibility of all the clubs. We do agree. But those days when Kumasi Asante Kotoko and Accra House of Folk were going to play games, see, the FA was heavily involved because this was the biggest paycheck you'll be getting in Ghana football in terms of a football match. The Black Stars was not even coming that close. We were filling Accra Sports Stadiums for people to be climbing the street lights and the light poles outside just to have a glimpse of the match inside the stadium. This was how packed we could pack our stadiums. Unfortunately, this time, as you are saying, I've not seen any media rounds. I'm not seeing any. You see, it looks like our people are lost, out of touch with today's media marketing. What does it take to pay influencers today who have taken over X, Instagram, TikTok? Let them make videos around the game. Let them create content. You can pay an influencer. Kali J is well interested in sports. All the guys you see around, the ladies, just pay them. Let them go to a training session of Accra House of Folk. Make content. I mean, if, for instance, sorry that I keep mentioning his name, but Kali is an Accra House of Folk fan. Take Kali on the money. Kali, go and create content. He goes to house training fixture game, puts it on his social media, tell people that, oh, this person is coming for this game, this person is coming for this game. Maybe an hour before the game, there will be a media story where, you get to meet some of the celebrities. They should do something about the game. Bring the celebrities on board. Bring the media personalities on board. Come and tell Lukman that, Lukman, we want you to be heavily invested in this game. So do something, create some content. Oh, Lukman, on your show on Saturday, before the game on Sunday, we want to bring some Accra House of Folk supporters and Kumasi supporters just to come and sing some Jama and get some fans' point of view. Why are we not doing this for our football? But let us hear Black Stars in Ghana. That is where you see them pulling all the personalities even to their hotels and their training pitches. We are doing this to our own selves.
Well,
at the end of the day,
not to cut you, just the recent Black Stars game. We saw right from the president,
RFA
to
chairman,
ministers, RFA chairman, to member
RFA
of
chairman. Then he went for the ESCO. Then the president and his ministers. Then Parliament. Why? Why?
That is the big question.
But Accra House of Folk, that will keep the money here in Ghana.
So not to cut you. Back in the day, I remember when these politicians are even going on morning shows prior to games between Hearts of Folk and Kumasi Asante Kotoko. They go there in their Hearts and Kotoko jerseys. So that's exactly why I'm asking, how bad have we fallen?
I always say that the last time I felt excited to a Hearts and Kotoko game was when Samuel Boedu was helping Accra House of Folk to challenge and win that Premier League. That was in 2018-2019 season. The game in Accra.
No, it was 2020-2021.
2020-2021. The game in Accra, the euphoria. See, that was the last time I realized morning shows were talking about Ghana Premier League games because it was a Kotoko Accra Folk chase to the Premier League. It might not have been quality football, but we were getting there, getting the fans to follow. Morning shows were no longer talking about politics and money here and all of that. They were now talking about the local league and how exciting it has become. That was the last time we had that feeling. Guess what happened? There's a bribery scandal even before the league ended, and squash, bush, that was it. We've not been able to revive the league again. Where is Keto Kweku? Where is Henry Asante Chum? This is where you need to see Henry Asante Chum. I mean, I like the man. He's doing well. But Henry, this is where we want to see you coming up with ideas. Ghana football is not just managing the Black Stars. You are the ones who have not even given the Premier League to one authorized body just to handle. For them to handle it like the way some countries have done it. And then the FA is also running. You are the same people who are running the Premier League with just bodies that are still under you. So you need to take this thing by, pick the crap on its own and then do the work. Let us see something. Unfortunately, we are not seeing it. But hey, it's House of Folk and Kumasi Asante Kotoko. It's still our biggest game. I don't expect fans to go to the stadium that much. Oh, I mean, come on. The Accra Sports Stadium, the venue, will be quarterly filled. Kotaka, we should thank God we get a quarter filled.
Yeah, and that's quite disappointing.
That's disappointing because even the last time, the All African Games, we could even fill the stadium. When by then under 20 were playing at the All African Games, we could fill the stadium. But Kumasi Asante Kotoko and Accra Folk senior national team cannot fill the stadium. Sad. This game could have been played at night. As I'm seeing it being played around 3 p.m.
Yeah, 3
They could have played at the night, you know, the recent Blasters game. When the sun is down, do a lot of media engagement and let people troop to the stadium. Unfortunately, we are not getting this to happen. But I mean, we still have, a Premier League, a Ghana Premier League to chase. I don't think both clubs, definitely Hearts is no longer in the, challenge. Kumasi Asante Kotoko have about a 10% chance, but I don't think they will get there. I still tip BBN Gold Stars to win this. If not BBN, I think Nations will be the closest, but I tip BBN to go for it. So yeah.
Well, I mean, so that was Larry on how bad or how we're falling when it comes to the Ghana Premier League. But then let me come to you, Jonathan. I mean, in as much as we look at it from the FA points of view, where the FA has not done enough to promote the game. Now let's look at it from Accra House of Folk and Kumasi Asante Kotoko. I mean, for the clubs themselves, have they done enough to keep the game in the spotlight to make sure that, look, fans are very, very interested in the games? Because in recent times, I was listening to one of the officials of Kumasi Asante Kotoko, and he says that one of their games, they only got around 600 cedis as gate proceeds. And this is Kumasi Asante Kotoko. So what are teams like House of Folk and Kumasi Asante Kotoko doing to ensure that their game or that big clash is out there for people to be very interested in? Because look, it's Saturday and tomorrow is Sunday, and we don't see anything happening with regards to this big game.
So this is what we once called the Jinyame fixture, the big clash here in Ghana football. Kotoko and Hearts of Folk are, the big giants here. So when they are playing, we expect there are bars around them, that fans are going, because I remember people do tell me that what happened on May 9th and those incidents happening at the sports stadium, people going to the stadium there before match day, sleeping there before a big game between Hearts of Folk and Kotoko. And recently, if we are getting this close, even if we are the presidency to be present at the sports stadium, still we don't get a full stadium. We can talk of the President's Cup that we just played. The previous one when Samuel Bodu was there. And still Accra Sports Stadium won't be filled up. Why? Sometimes it is not about what the club will do. The connection between the club and its fans is no more there.
Okay.
The connection. A Kotoko fan today, proud Kotoko fan, can give you 1999 first 11 of Kotoko. He still supports the club. He says that. But today, he don't even know the first 3 players for Kumasi Asante Kotoko on their roster. You don't know their name. Why? Because the club is now distant from the people. And that's why last season, under Prosper Natewugum, they play away games and get good results. But home games, Ogum had to plead for fans to move from Kumasi to watch the team play at the Baba Yara Sports Stadium.
So what do you think has contributed to this? Because that disconnection between the fans and then the clubs is unusual, because we can make comparison with teams in Europe. I mean, for example, Manchester United has not been doing well for close to a decade, but then the fans of the club are still with them, deeply rooted with the clubs. So how come when it comes to Ghanaian clubs, Hearts and Kotoko, I mean, the little bit of underperformance and then that connection is lost? So
the connection can be lost if the goal, the aim, and what we will do to attain it is not the same. For example, another giant here in Accra, Hearts of Oak. Today, whenever they lose a game, you listen to their fans, you pick 3 of them. One will tell you that their management members are not working. The other 2 will blame the coach, and the other will blame the players. 3 different views from the same set of fans. Kotoko. Till date, we have fans who still have that love and care. Still thinking about who Nana Amponsa, the man who is not still with the club. So fans of today supporting these clubs are not getting that gist that they have to focus on what will help the club and not what they want. So the direction of the club, because as we speak, Kotoko fans, I was checking their social media handle, and then one of their fans commented that till date Adaku Jati is bushy. No one is there to weed. No one is there. Sadly, one commented that Pole is no more to weed for the club. Pole is no more to weed for the club. But this same person will be singing Fabu, Fabulous, Kumasi Asante Kotoko. Why can't he go to Adaku Dachi and do what Pole was doing before he left us? So the passion for the game here in the country is no more.
It has diminished.
Our local football, the passion for our local football is no more. Port City FC from Division 1, wherever they are, they have a supporter. That woman, she's over 70 years of age. Matthew, wherever they go, the woman follows. I can bet on that the woman is not rich like people want to be before they enter the Accra Sports Stadium to support Kotoko or Hearts. But if she follows the club, why? Because she's deeply rooted into the club. That's her only source of entertainment, the club, football. But you get to Kumasi, and fans of the club are not in accordance with the management board. And that's why Kotoko fans will tell you that Karim Jito being their head coach, they have fans of Prosper Nate Ogum. So Ogum was sacked, the fans too will follow.
And they have lost interest in supporting.
They'll lose interest in the club.
Yeah.
They don't care about the club, the day-to-day activities of the club anymore. Hearts of Oak, whenever they lose a game, half of their fans will be singing the names of their management members. Vincent Odote, Alhaji Akambi. I don't know if these are the names that will be playing the football for them on the pitch. They forget what's happening on the field, and all they care, all they think about is the management members. In Ghana here, I don't think a lot of people here even know the management board from Real Madrid. No. But Ghana here, after Kotoko and Hearts, the next name won't be their players on the pitch, but their management members.
Or the coach.
So we the fans, what do we want from these clubs? One, when these players do perform, at first someone will mention Dombote to enter the Kumasi Asante Kotoko, Accra Sports Stadium just to watch you. Hearts of Oak. Just to watch Dombote, give him a stunner. Fine free kick, Dombote.
But today that euphoria is no more. You see, in Europe, they know how clubs do go down the lane. And they also know strategically that white man will find a plan strategically to bring back that law for the club. And that's why you see a certain Leicester City making Jamie Vardy as their greatest player ever. Why? Because they know the connection between Vardy and the Leicester fans over a decade since joining the club from Fleetwood Town in 2012. As we speak, Kotoko can't name a single player who has been in this squad for over 10 years. As their player of the decade or something.
They can't.
Well, maybe, within that period, that player maybe didn't do enough to stay.
If
Vardy had done enough to stay.
So the problem here is, over a decade, we've seen Kotoko win the Ghana Premier League. We've seen them at least participate in CAF interclub competitions. We've seen them win the MTN FA Cup. So with all this performance to at least get some glories, they were not even able to maintain a single starter, a single player to be that pool. It got to a point. Yaya Mohammed was the pool for Adriana Stars whenever they are playing at the Doma Adriana Park. Yaya Mohammed, because they know when they go there, he will score. As you speak.
And he spoke big before games.
He's that fine man who puts crowd for the club. So I was wondering, you see Hamza Issa doing interviews and you look at the comments 2, 3. Meanwhile, you check their social media and over 200,000 followers. Meanwhile, only 2 comments under what Hamza Issa is saying ahead of a big game. What's our role as fans?
So you think that the club has...
There's nothing within these clubs too attractive for us to follow them again.
Well,
there's nothing attractive about the club.
All right, so I intentionally went through the Accra House of Hope Twitter page, and in the last few days, this is what they've been doing. They've actually been doing a countdown to the game itself, and then so you can see 5 days to go. We will pick the best ones for our pre-match interview. Drop your questions for our players ahead of the clash, and then they came back. There was this video of some section of the team going to the Nigbese to pour libation. Then they had one again, 4 days to go. This game is about pride. It's about heart, so go and win, boys. That is from Bernard Dombote. And then the following day, there was our communications director, Kwame Opari Ado, is live on Sporty FM discussing our game against Kumasi Asante Kotoko. And then again, we are live on Max FM promoting our game against Kumasi Asante Kotoko, Kwame Opari Ado. Okay, then there is the list of media men that have been given accreditation for that game, and then there is a pre-match interview with Kwesi Asma on their YouTube channel, and then it continues with some photos of the team training ahead of that big game, and that is it. So in the last 4 days, no disrespect to the communications team of Accra House of Hope, it's been more of Kwame Opari Ado doing the talking for the club than the main actors who are the players. Apart from Kwesi Asma, there is no single player that has spoken officially on the pages of Accra House of Hope. We've not also heard Coach Abubakar Ouattara also speak, and there's nothing showing on their social media page. And we have over 24 hours to that big game. So you think these are some of the things the clubs do that makes it unattractive for the clubs are no more
attractive. Even FC Barcelona in Spain, ahead of a big game, they will add Lamine Yamal to Hansi Flick ahead of the press conference. Why? Because whatever Lamine Yamal will say will fly more than Hansi Flick being the coach.
So the fans are not into it.
The fans are not into it. We are here in Ghana. We ask ourselves, Kumasi Asante Kotoko, who is going to be the star man? Who is going to say, join us at the Accra Sports Stadium? We are going to...
At this particular moment, we should be hearing from Kwame Opoku.
Kwame Opoku. Emmanuel Antwi should be telling us that he played for Great Olympics. He knows how to beat Hearts of Oak.
All right, so now let me come to Teddy. Teddy, I mean, we've spoken about the fact that the clubs have not done enough to promote this game. We just went through the Twitter handle of Accra House of Oak, and it's been Kwame Opari Ado, and then one Kwesi Asma. I mean, when you ask me today who is the biggest player at Accra House of Oak, I don't think it is Kwesi Asma. There are other players that Accra House of Oak could have sold to push this game. Yes, Hamza Issa has not had a very good season, but he is one of the biggest players at Accra House of Oak at the moment. But then Hamza Issa has not really spoken. So I'm intentionally going back to, you mentioned FC Barcelona, so I'm going to their post. They have the El Clasico this weekend, and we all know. Now, so on that page, they are actually promoting a partnership with Travis Scott.
The jersey that they will wear for their Clasico game.
The jersey that they will be wearing for the El Clasico. In fact, this weekend they are actually playing Valladolid. But then the El Clasico is actually next week. But then they are already promoting the jerseys that they will be wearing for the El Clasico, which is happening next week.
They are raising the revenue from this week.
Exactly. And you have photos of them also traveling to Valladolid for their game against. So this is the difference we are talking about. But then let me come to you, Teddy. I mean, we've looked at the fact that the teams are not doing that much when it comes to these games. How about the players?
Well, yeah, that's a very nice question. And you know, for Ghana football to be at its best, we need the clubs playing our local league to be on the rise, especially Hearts of Oak and Kumasi Asante Kotoko. Meanwhile, in recent years, that has not been happening. Like you rightly said, throughout the publicity of Accra Hearts of Oak, we've not seen much participation from the players engaged in these activities. I think for Accra Hearts of Oak, recently they had one player from their squad being called up to the Black Stars. That's Benjamin Asari, the goalkeeper. Yes, if I got it right. So I think for Accra Hearts of Oak, or going into a game like this, when you are bringing players, or when you want to bring in your players to be part of the advertisement side, going into this game, for a club like Kumasi Asante Kotoko coming to your home ground to play the game, I think both teams have not been good this season, even though Kumasi Asante Kotoko have been having issues when it comes to managerial issues. But I think the players too are not doing their side very well. Yeah, they need the club need to go back to their drawing board and try to bring in the players so that when we are having games like this, the players can also get involved. I think the players too can do something like posting on their social media pages, telling friends we have a game against Kotoko. Kotoko players also doing the same thing, doing videos and telling their fans to come on board and also have a feel of what the game will bring us, because this is the biggest game we have when it comes to the Ghana Premier League. So yeah, I think this is something the club should look at. The management must engage the players that when you have games like this, okay, you can also do the advertisement in your own way by making videos, posting the flyers of what the club designs on your social media pages, sharing to friends, and see people come on board to watch the game. So I think that's very important. So that's what I feel the club should be doing regarding the players' contribution.
Well, so you mentioned goalkeeper Richard
Benjamin
Asari. I mean, you look at a goalkeeper like Benjamin Asari, his experience, his exposure being with the Black Stars. Don't you think that for Accra Hearts of Oak, he should have been the selling point for them in this particular game?
Yes. Because lately, whenever Asari is out there on the media, you see people reacting or the reaction from people
he's got a lot of engagement.
Because for a player to break through to the Ghana, the Black Stars set up above the age of 30 years. It's not
being the
real.
first choice goalkeeper.
Just his first call up and then got a slot to be the number one in 2 games for the Black Stars of Ghana. He's that poster man for now. They can put him outside there. Players who have scored against Kumasi Asante Kotoko. The last time they played there and then they won, the goal was scored by Kunadu Yadom. Kunadu Yadom is back in the country. Kunadu Yadom should be the man telling Kotoko fans that they should come back again. He will give it to them again. So these are the players they need to be talking alongside Coach Ouattara, because we know how Ouattara too is. Whenever he speaks, the media enjoys it. Ouattara is one man. Whenever he speaks, it sells very, very well. But with their communication directors, they will do their part. But they will not get the engagement like Benjamin Asari will do. Exactly. Psychologically, we know the player will have to prepare. But ahead of the game, the club's official sites should at least put videos out there of these players getting ready for the games.
Because I tell you what, I haven't seen any video of any old Hearts of Oak and Kumasi Asante Kotoko game on that Accra Hearts of Oak website.
There's some goals scored by
on Accra Hearts of Oak's Twitter page. I'm going to be screening through their Facebook page as well, and then see if they've done that. And that is quite interesting, because look, I mean, Twitter or X drives the trend.
Yes.
So if a little over 24 hours to the big games, we don't have any of these big teams in the trends, it tells you that we are not pushing it enough.
No, we are not
yes,
pushing
on the day of the game, we might find them on the trends, but then that means that right after the game, the game?
It's over. For them.
Well, I mean, we've spoken about what the clubs have to do when it comes to these games.
And this is where some of us are advocates in this country that the sports ministry must invest heavily into the local league. You know, football in this country is not just about the Black Stars, like Larry said. Football in this country is not just about the Black Stars. This is where the sports ministry must come in and invest heavily into the local league, so that when games like this are coming, at least the euphoria, the intensity around the game must be very big, because it's just surprising that Hearts and Kotoko are going to play, and the intensity around the game is very low. So I think the sports ministry must take a critical look at our local league and invest heavily. So Honorable Kofi Adams has a work to do when it comes to the local league. And there are other sporting disciplines in the country. Football is not only the kind of sports industry we have. So the sports ministry has a work to do. So Honorable Kofi Adams, wherever he's doing the listening, he should take this very serious.
All right. I mean, we'll definitely come to the ways we can revive this particular game or our local league. But then I'm also going through the Twitter handle of Kumasi Asante Kotoko. Well, so 5 days ago, they played Adriana Stars, and they shared some excerpts from that game. Mohamed Kamara saving a penalty in that game. Now, right after that, they also shared an artwork of the game between them and Accra House of Folk, which is quite commendable, with the caption, "The story continues." And then they moved on to, they reacted to a post by Accra House of Folk, which says that the real war is coming. Rivalry week starts now in our minds. Reply with one word to describe how you're feeling. And then Kumasi Asante Kotoko replied with a video of one of their games that they defeated Accra House of Folk, which was quite recent. That game that they defeated House of Folk in Kumasi. Now, they went on to celebrate Workers' Day with a very beautiful artwork. And then after that, they played a friendly against Cornerstone. They shared the results of that friendly and then the goal scorers. And now they've posted the pre-match interview of Abdul Karim Zito. And so, yes, they also had a special visit from the Kumasi mayor ahead of that game. And so you look at these things. I mean, yes, a visit from the Kumasi mayor, which for me is quite commendable. You look at the post-match interview, which is very, very important. But then we look at all these things and we don't see them pushing, because even the engagement on those ones, like you're saying, Kumasi Asante Kotoko has 749,000, so almost 750,000 followers on Twitter. Now they post the post-match interview of pre-match interview of Karim Zito, and they are getting 27 retweets out of 750,000 followers. Well, that is good, but then it doesn't push the game that much. Now you go to even Accra House of Folks post, and you get almost the same number. Accra House of Folk has over 500,000 followers. Now their last post, and again, this is where I'm very particular. So their post on the communications director speaking on a station ahead of the game has only one retweet and only 11 likes. Only one.
And that's very bad.
And that is after 22 hours. And then again, you look at another one. Again, their communications director being on another station speaking ahead of the game. And it has 3 retweets and 18 likes. And that is 1 day ago. And then you go again. So it tells you that I think these are some of the things that they have. There is another one. That's 2 days ago. It had 1 retweet and then 19 likes. So it tells you the people following the club are not interested in what the communications director is going to say about Haas and Kotoko.
No.
They want to see the players talk.
Yes.
They want to see the coaches talk.
Yes.
So you see where the miscommunication is actually it's surprising.
So the product that the fans will buy, the product that the club will have to sell is the players, the principal characters on the pitch.
Yeah.
Because if I know the player I'm going to watch even from home, I'll then enjoy him more than you telling me that Prosper Arsenado is here, or maybe we have or Pariado rather here talking so many then.
All right. On that note, since we are talking about them speaking ahead of the game, this is coach of Kumasi Asante Kotoko, Abdul Karim Zito, speaking after his first win against Adriana Stars as he prepares for that game against Accra House of Folk on Sunday.
I'm very happy about this game. Well, that is what football is all about. The moment you go into into a game and then you fail, so I think today, previous 3 matches, that was very poor. Today we have the opportunity to make amendments. So this will energize us to the rest of the game.
Well, of course, that game will energize them ahead of that game against Kumasi Asante Kotoko. Well, so for fans of Kumasi Asante Kotoko, he actually sent a message to you guys. And, I mean, the league is not over. 4 more matches to end the season. And he's been speaking. He sounds very confident. And it looks like Kumasi Asante Kotoko are not giving up on the title.
For now, they have to be content to only winning, not adding beauty. My philosophy is adding beauty to goal scoring. This is my philosophy. But without possession, you can't win. If you want to when you lose the ball, you lose the game. So now, all what we are after now is to win.
Well, so all Kumasi Asante Kotoko is after is winning matches. Now, let's move away from the marketing aspect and then let's talk about how we can fix this particular situation. Jonathan, what do you think these clubs, the sports ministry, the Ghana Football Association, and all stakeholders involved should be doing to promote the game? Like I said, I'm an old school boy. Yes, I'm not too old. I'm not even old. But then I saw what Accra House of Folk and Kumasi Asante Kotoko was back in the day. Like I said earlier, you will see the paraphernalia everywhere. You will see cars, shops everywhere, the flags everywhere. We've done it before. So what do we have to do to ensure that we get that back?
So we have to learn from the Europeans ones. If we want precedent,
because they are the ones that
they are setting the standards out there that we have to learn from them. I watched basketball, the NBA playoffs, and then during each breaks, you see fans on the courts. They call that session "win a basket and get cash."
Yeah,
win a basket and you get a JC. Win a basket and get a car. And I was asking myself, even if you don't love the team, you go to the studio, you go to the arena to enjoy the game, just to participate in that session because you want to get a JC of LeBron James, because you want to get a JC from maybe Giannis or Steph Curry, because you've seen them sharing cars. We can do better here, because if we give prizes to players as man of the match, if we have partnership deals with NASCO, if we have partnership deals with Lily Rice at the Ghana Football Association, if we have partnership deal with Goyle Fuel Station.
Well, I'd love to go for an Accra House of Folk game and then walk home with a 5 kilo of Lily
5 kilo of Lily Rice.
As a bachelor,
as a bachelor,
5 kilo.
You enjoy Watara's game. After that, you get your Lily Rice and then some 5-star energy drink, which they are sponsoring the Ghana Football Association. I stand to be corrected. So if we want to do our football very well, I was very happy when Legon Cities came in with that push.
Exactly. So happy.
They brought Shatawale and some superstars to the stadium just to perform. Why? Because they really understand that the marketing of the club.
It actually pulled crowds. Because I remember one Valentine's Day, there was a game that they had Kwesiata at the stadium.
Wow.
You go there and
then you go there.
You see, so you go there and then you are given chocolates. I was lucky to get a chocolate and another friend. You understand what I'm saying?
Yes, chocolate with a human being.
Yeah.
The next game you visit the Airwax Sports Stadium just to watch them play. So we are too fixated on football on the pitch. Forgetting that marketing of these clubs, how do you make these clubs very attractive to the audience? You have to have a strategic plan. You have to work towards it. Because of that, FC Barcelona will just give you a ping pong game. Go and watch on YouTube. Go and watch what Lewandowski will do for them to earn money.
So let me just bring you in. I mean, when we talk about these things, like you said, it is important for us to learn from the Europeans, because I've seen a lot that they've been doing. Before that UEFA Champions League game, before the Copa del Rey final between Real Madrid and then Barcelona. So there was this Nigerian singer, Skills, who was trended because of his chic body.
The sound,
Barcelona felt that, look, Lamine Yamal was actually the one who started that trend, and then it started going viral. You know what Barcelona did? They invited Skills to Spain to come and then celebrate
join them.
And he got them that pool. Look, the Nigerians are huge on social media.
Yeah.
And when you see the kind of numbers they gave Barcelona during that week, it means that there is somebody working or thinking outside the box when it comes to this thing. Unfortunately, maybe we have a lot of people who just think inside the box and not outside the box.
Even West Ham United in the English Premier League. Whenever they will post a video of Mohamed Kudus, they will even use Kim Palute's music.
Exactly.
Yeah. Sure.
Apiki. Why? Because they've seen that song trending on TikTok, on X, on YouTube. So to get the engagement and the reactions, we Ghanaians have to understand that these engagements and reactions on social media platform comes with money.
So
and what we are rightly saying here, going forward or from next season or before next season commences, these are things the clubs, the GFA and the sports ministry have to look at before we commence next season, because we don't want the coming season of the Ghana Premier League to be like to look as boring as this season has been. So next season, before the season commences, the stakeholders must come on board and draw a proper plan so that so that the league can be
I will come to you on how those things again. But then, for example, the entire season, the only thing I or a lot of people can remember about this season was the death of Boli, which is quite unfortunate.
Yes.
How does the death of an individual be the story of the Ghana Premier League in the 2024-2025 season? That is quite that is appalling. And so it tells you that we are not doing the right things. And like you're saying, we have to learn from the Europeans. Throughout last week, the Europeans are trying to bring back the culture of Tifo back in the game. We saw what Manchester United did before their game against Olympic Lyon, hanging that Tifo. Bodo Glimt did the same thing. Borussia Dortmund are doing the same. They are each and every day trying to add color to
even Real Madrid against Arsenal.
Because in all fairness, football has lost a little bit of quality.
Yes.
But then on the other scale of it is the promotion of other aspects of the game because as we sit down, you know the date of the final of the FA Cup.
Yes.
You know the
UEFA Champions League final.
Exactly. But then you don't know that of Kumasi Asante Kotoko. So, like you said we should learn from the Europeans. Now, Teddy, or you have other points?
Yeah, so what I'll add is, if you meet a Proud Phobia fan, give you a singing group, they'll mention Chapter O.
Yeah.
So what happened to Chapter O? Why can't the Hearts of Football ask themselves, where is Chapter O? Where are we going to find that last person who is responsible for Chapter O to at least get us some reincarnation, some resurrection for them to fill that part at the Accra Sports Stadium? Where are they? So these are the people you have to be connecting with. Not always on the pitch. So go to the streets. The fan culture too is dead.
Well, I mean, now a lot of so I asked this same question. I think that was a couple of weeks ago. I was at Accra Sports Stadium for an Accra Lions game, and I saw a section of Accra Lions.
The young boys, the way they were singing.
They were singing throughout the game, and they've been there every single
game.
And I'm saying Accra Lions was a team that was birthed in 2015. They are just 10 years old. Now getting 10 years old, and they have that fan culture. They don't have 10,000 fans across the nation, but they have a specific number of fans that would come every single time.
Always supporting the club at their match venues.
But then for Accra House of Folk, so I asked that question. When I saw that, I asked that question, and then someone told me that, look, they've seen that House of Folk is not going to help them, so they are all now part of the national team supporters groups. Because they know that, if not for anything, the national team, when they are traveling, they will find a way of financing their trip. But House of Folk is not doing well to even to travel to some of these venues. House of Folk will not bus their fans to those places. Kumasi Asante Kotoko will not do the same thing. So this is why fan culture is dead. So you think that we should try and then fix fan culture, and then make sure that we learn from the Europeans. Now let me come to you, Teddy. Do you think there are other ways we can get back to reviving our game?
Yeah, it's by giving chance to some of the well-known content creators, like Larry said it. Zlatan here is a big figure. Imagine, it's very serious. Zlatan here is a very big figure. Imagine this game, content creators are given the chance to publicize this kind of games on their pages. And sometimes too, I think they can drive in the celebrities on board, like how he said it when Legon Cities
we're doing it.
Yeah, we're doing it. So I think all stakeholders must come into play. I think the club management, the players, the coaches, the fans, the GFA, the sports ministry, every stakeholder must come into play for us to revive, the beauty of the Ghana Premier League. Because as we are saying, tomorrow is the biggest game in the Ghana Premier League. Chelsea and Liverpool are playing. You will see Ghanaians giving much attention to a foreign league than our local league, and that's not the best, because the league has been boring this season, and from next season I think all stakeholders must come into play. The content creators, giving them the opportunity is very, very key. Yeah, because we have a lot of sports content creators. Yes, we have I think they should just finance them. Okay, we are giving you this fixture, we are giving you this fixture. Imagine Kotoko coming to your home ground to play. I'm from Pando, so anytime Kotoko Hearts is coming to play at the Pando Sports Stadium, you will see the whole Pando town, having some kind of different feeling because Kotoko or Hearts of Oak is coming. So I think the Ghana Premier League or the sports ministry, the GFA, I think next season they should work on giving chance for the content creators to come into play, so that let's see how that one will go.
Well, so you think content creators can play a huge role?
Yes, they can play a huge role.
So,
and I can recommend
the clubs too. The clubs too should be buying quality players that will attract us. Because we know Florentino Perez will tell you that got to a point they felt like Mbappe's deal was off, but he wanted to still bring him because they needed someone to just give them something on JC sales. Still, Mbappe is a good player.
But then, when it comes to our local league, who are the big players now? And
that's a big question.
Yeah, exactly. Who are the big players? I think we've lost focus on projecting the up and coming ones, because back then, yes, the Emmanuel Osei-Kufors were there, the Emmanuel Ajiman Diaz were there, Isaac Baff. There is this guy. He was a Kumasi Asante Kotoko striker. I always forget his name. Isaac. We had the likes of Emba Power and then the rest. But while we had those players, we also made a lot of noise about players like Tariq Jibrin, players like Abanga. These were players, they had not even tasted Premier League, but then there was a lot of noise about them. So I think we can also put a lot of emphasis on some of these players, or we can give them that highlight, we can give them that spotlight. If not, it's never going to work for us. But then, let's move away from the marketing of this game. Now, let's talk about the game itself. Kumasi Asante Kotoko versus Accra Hearts of Oak. Jonathan, who wins this game?
So to me, I see a draw game between Kotoko and Hearts of Oak.
A draw?
Yeah, a draw game. Because if you check the statistics and also the two clubs head to head, clearly Hearts of Oak and Kotoko, when they met in the first leg, we saw what happened. So in the second leg, the only thing that will be making the difference is that Karim Zito have faced Hearts of Oak for 6 times, 5 draws for Hearts and then 1 defeat for them. So he's yet to be beaten by Phobia. Hearts of Oak find it very difficult to defeat Karim Zito. And unfortunately for Hearts of Oak, they will be playing against Kumasi Asante Kotoko with their head coach being who? Karim Zito. So a bit dicey for them. But if you check Kotoko and Hearts of Oak in their previous game, 5 matches ahead of this game, Kotoko have won only 1 game. They've been defeated twice and also 2 draws. Hearts of Oak have been able to get 2 wins, 2 draws, and then 1 defeat. They are head to head. The last time that they met at the Kumasi Baba Yara Sports Stadium, Kotoko were able to beat Hearts of Oak by 1 goal. That goal was scored during stoppage time, if you remember. So clearly when they meet, in their last meeting, Kotoko were able to beat them. In their last 3 meetings, Kotoko comes up victorious against Hearts of Oak. Why? Because I see a plan. Why? Because these are the players who play against them daily. Every time they know where Hearts and also what Hearts of Oak will be doing and what they will not be doing. Coaches available find tactics and way to beat them. But for now, that win against Adriana Stars, just as Karim Zito said it, I'm going to repeat his words. That win will have to energize the players to play the super class very well against Hearts of Oak. Hearts of Oak, the last time that they won a game against Kotoko was in the President Cup in 2023. So if you're a Phobia fan outside there, the last time you won a game, Samuel Wadu was your manager in 2023.
2 years now.
There's no more Samuel Wadu. Ouattara's first game he got defeated 3-2. Second game, 2-0, and third game, 1-0 at the hands of Kotoko. They'll be playing against them. If you check the standings too, Kotoko and Hearts of Oak. Kotoko are now 5th on the league log. Hearts of Oak are also 6th on the league log. Kotoko, after scoring 29 goals, have conceded 21. Hearts of Oak, after scoring 25, has conceded only 17 goals. So clearly, Kotoko concedes more than Hearts of Oak does. So Kotoko will be conceding. Why? That switch between Samba O'Neill at the back, it got to a point nobody knew why. But Prosper Nate Ogum out of nowhere decided to bench his best centre back in the season. And I know it's part of the reasons why he got sacked. They've conceded 21 goals. Hearts of Oak, on the other hand, with the emergence of Kunadu Yadon back into the squad, Michael Ampadu, Kelvin Oseasibe, these are guys who are formidable in terms of defensive play. Because conceding 17 goals in the Ghana Premier League is not easy.
Yeah, it's not easy. It's not easy.
Benjamin Asare this season have 13 clean sheets for Hearts of Oak.
Yeah.
13 clean sheets.
That makes me the number one goalkeeper.
The number one goalkeeper
for the Black Stars.
Hey, for the Black Stars.
Yeah, he's actually the number one.
He's the number one.
Yeah.
After just 2 games.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I mean,
yeah, number one.
Otuado says he's number
Otuado
one.
said he's number one. So
Okay,
we don't
we
know the
live
plans.
to see what will happen in
Yeah, sure.
USA, Canada, Mexico, if Benjamin will be there.
We'll wait to see what happens.
So you check the points tally. Kotoko have 50 points, Hearts of Oak have 45. Clearly, the gap is no wide. Because with 6 games to go, possible 21 out of it, and then you are trailing your arch rivals by only 5 goals and 5 points. And the sad thing is, someone said something this morning that this game is not even the title decider, because after this game, they have to be looking at the top of the table, because these 2 clubs can't beat BBN Gold Stars. These 2 clubs can't stand Nations FC.
FC, yeah.
These 2 clubs can't stand Mediama Sporting Club. These 2 clubs can't beat even Heart of Lions in Pando. So how are we sure? Where is the energy? What's the motivation? The bragging rights? Karim Zito has a record to defend. 6 times against Hearts of Oak, is yet to be defeated. But Abubakar Ouattara, please, Ouattara, this is not the time to be teaching the media how to ask questions. We beg your pardon.
Yeah.
This is the time for you to face your work. Be on the touchline. Get Hearts of Oak this win, because if they win this game, they've closed the gap between Kotoko to 2 points. Clearly, they will have a chance to leapfrog them if they continue with that momentum, because in their last 5 games, they've won 2, draw 2, and also 1 defeat. Kotoko in their last 5 games have managed to get a single win from their interim manager, Karim Zito. Very poor before Ogum left, but Karim Zito was able to restore parity with them to get a victory against Adriana by a long goal. So in a crucial game like this, the only thing at stake for these 2 clubs now is the coach available for Kumasi Asante Kotoko is one man who knows how to play against Hearts of Oak. And the coach available for Hearts of Oak is one man who is yet to beat Kotoko. You can't tell me that you'll be the manager for Hearts of Oak. You want to prove to us that you're not having a bad season, but you can't win the Ginyame fixture.
Yeah.
Go and ask Ernesto Valverde why he got sacked from FC Barcelona. Go and ask Xavi why he got sacked. It was because he got to a point they felt like our rivals are beating us too much.
Too much, yes.
Go and ask Carlo Ancelotti why they are threatening to sack him. It's because Hansi Flick is demolishing Real Madrid. So if Abubakar Ouattara will be sitting there for phobia until the bones are rotting, for the bones to get rotten to this point.
Every day to be beaten by Kotoko.
Every day to be beaten by Kotoko. But he will then tell us that we played so well in the first half. In the second half, we lost our rhythm and we got defeated. Please don't lose your rhythm this time.
This game is no
From
excuse.
minute 1 to the 90th minute, we want to see a full packed action on the pitch. Both Hearts of Oak and Kotoko will have to deliver, because fit on the league log and sit on the league log. This is not the standard that we want
And this is not the standard for the 2 teams.
for the 2 teams.
Yes. This is not the standard for the 2 teams.
Well, I mean, we've definitely spoken a lot about Accra House of Oak and Kumasi Asante Kotoko, and like I said earlier, the UEFA Champions League provided us with some thrilling results. But then, at the moment in the English Premier League, there is a game that is currently ongoing: Aston Villa versus Fulham at the Villa Park, and Aston Villa have taken the lead through Yuri Tillemans, and so that top 4 position is actually building up very, very well. What it means is that Aston Villa are now closing in on Nottingham Forest, who are in 6th place. So that English Premier League top 5 spot will be interesting, because at the moment, yes, Liverpool are champions, Arsenal are in 2nd place, and they will definitely be ending the season in that position. Now, Manchester City, Newcastle United, Chelsea, Nottingham Forest, and Aston Villa are all fighting for that top 4 position. There is only 4 points between those teams. Now, Manchester City are in 3rd place with 64 points. Newcastle United are in 4th place with 62 points. Chelsea has 60 points. Nottingham Forest also have 60 points, with Aston Villa also having 60 points. That's how interesting those positions have become. But then we move straight to what is the big one from midweek. Well, so there you have it. That was the anthem of the UEFA Champions League. And in midweek, Arsenal were beaten at home by Paris Saint-Germain. Ousmane Dembele scored the only goal in the 4th minute. And then in Spain, Barcelona were held to a 3-3 draw by Italian giants Inter Milan. So there is a lot to be played for in the UEFA Champions League. Which 2 teams will be reaching the finals of the UEFA Champions League? Well, I'll definitely be bringing my analysts into the conversation. But then for Mikel Arteta, who is coach of Arsenal, he still believes that tie is not over yet. This is what he had to say after that game between them and Paris Saint-Germain.
It's halftime. It's the same message against Real Madrid after we beat them 3-0. We need to go to Paris and win the game. Today the margins were very small. I think they started the game better for 2 reasons. The first one, because they get out of our press after a lot of passes and sequences, which is their talent, and then the individual quality decided the first goal. After we have some issues, especially what we did after regaining the ball, which against them is a key moment as well. And then the team was started to be better and better.
Well, so that was Arsenal manager Mikel Arteta after their defeat to Paris Saint-Germain. Like you heard him say, the tie is just halftime. It is not over yet. But then, Jonathan, do you think it's over? Really? Yes. But Thomas Partey will be coming back. Okay. Why do you think it's over?
These are the only 3 players in Europe that we have the profile. They can play deep as number 8. They play deep as number 6. When you need them to come up front to play as number 10, they can also play. So interchangeably, the only club in Europe with 3 players in their middle who can rotate so well is who? Paris Saint-Germain. Why? Because the profile of Vitinha, the profile of João Neves, and the profile of Fabian Ruiz, we shouldn't forget, at the start of the season, we have to start accepting football that we've gone beyond that age where we'll be saying you need a Serie A winner, you need a starter, you need big names, you need someone 30 years plus before you claim the UEFA Champions League. No. Why? Because at the moment, put that Arsenal team on a scale of 1 to 10. How will you rate them? You see, we've been sitting on Paris Saint-Germain for the past 2 years. We have to acknowledge Luis Enrique. We are talking about the man, according to Opta, from 2010 till now. Rating in final games, 78%. He hardly loses a final.
Yeah.
So going to the final will be their task.
Well,
the only mantle that they have to climb.
This is the semi-final.
And as we speak, in the semi-final, they have one footwear in Munich.
Final, yeah.
Because they won the
Really?
first leg in Emirates.
Yeah.
It's just 1-0.
That's the point. One goal determines something. I think if Real Madrid were even able to get a goal against Arsenal at the Emirates, they would have done a remontada at the Santiago Bernabeu, but they were not able to do that.
No, they
So
have to go to Man United
to have some tactics from Robert Amorim.
Yeah.
So we have to accept the fact that the kind of football Paris Saint-Germain is playing, we have to respect and stop calling the French Ligue 1 the Farmers League. Why? Because when we start to accept that they are playing elite football, you analyze their game and stop underrating them. This season, the only left fullback who is yet to be dispossessed in the UEFA Champions League by wingers is who? Nuno Mendes. He plays in the French Ligue 1 for Paris Saint-Germain.
That guy is very good. Very good guy.
The second coach in UEFA Champions League history to win the treble, aside Hans-Dieter Flick, is who? Luis Enrique. Where is he coaching? In the French Ligue 1, Paris Saint-Germain.
And he's now in the semi-final.
He's in the semi-final in a season where Ousmane Dembele is not frequently visiting the hospital. He's in a semi-final in a season where Ousmane Dembele is one poster man that people are tipping him to win the Ballon d'Or from playing for Borussia Dortmund, playing in the Messi era at FC Barcelona. Dembele is enjoying one of the most successful seasons in his career.
And he's evident.
Under a coach, in the first 2 weeks, when Luis Enrique was the manager for Paris Saint-Germain, they were fighting. News from France were saying that he was not happy with the guy's behavior. And we all know Dembele to be that guy.
Yeah.
During midnight, he'll be playing PlayStation. At Barcelona, they complained, but he was that darling boy.
Yeah.
But PSG, we saw a coach, a manager, who is able to stamp his authority on his players. No matter who you are, go and ask Kylian Mbappe. He told him, if you are ready to leave, then you'll be on the bench until you leave the club. Because I can't play you today and tomorrow change my tactics. And he started benching Kylian Mbappe. Clearly, football wingers peak at the age of 25, 26, 27. That's where Dembele is now today. Dictating the pace of the game for Paris Saint-Germain as a number 9. Meanwhile, there's a Goncalo Ramos on the bench. Tactically, the only club in the UEFA Champions League in terms of possessing games. The only club in the UEFA Champions League, when you talk of their fullbacks adding worth to the attack, is Achraf Hakimi and Nuno Mendes. Achraf Hakimi having double figures in the UEFA Champions League in terms of goals and assists. Nuno Mendes too, same. You can't talk same for Miles Lewis Kelly. You can't talk same for William Saliba. In their last 2 games, Saliba has been just messing up their defense. Against Crystal Palace, we saw that blunder. Against
Real Madrid.
Real Madrid too, we saw it. And I don't know why. He's one of the 5 centre backs in the English Premier League this season. I don't know, maybe they deal what pressure. Because boss, I know why. The deal to Real Madrid is pressuring the guy. I will understand that if you see that.
Well, I mean, the UEFA Champions League itself is a big tournament.
These are guys who have to go into the game. Paris Saint-Germain are playing with Pacho. William Pacho had his breakthrough season last season. Yeah. This season, he's a standout performance against alongside Marquinhos. And we all know the experience of Marquinhos. You can't talk about goalkeepers with saves per game more of an ignore Donnarumma. We saw him against Aston Villa.
Yeah, he has been very good this season.
We've seen him against Arsenal in the first leg. In the second leg, Donnarumma will still be Donnarumma. So to me, if you have Kvaratskhelia as your winger, Desiree Doué from the bench, Bradley Barcola, We can't mention same name for Arsenal. Arsenal were able to eliminate Real Madrid because Real Madrid were on accelerating descendancy. We all accepted that.
Interestingly, Desiree Dou actually started against
Arsenal
in midweek.
And Barcola was on the bench.
Yeah, and Barcola was on the bench. Barcola has more often
now being on the bench.
Yeah.
So it tells you that there is competition.
Depth.
Is it depth?
Yeah,
I think it's more than depth.
The reason why I'm saying the depth is that from the start of the season, Barcola was the one who was handling the club. So clearly, if their poster boy from the start of the season is on the bench, imagine Barcola coming into the game from the 78th minute. He's coming to add different rhythm to the game. Okay. So that competition to me is very healthy because Desiree Dou is not doing bad.
No, not at all.
He's doing so well. People are now calling him the Lamine Yamal of the French League One.
And then the Lamine Yamal of United is Harry Maguire. Anyways, before we even
Harry Maguire,
before we even talk about Lamine Yamal and Barcelona, well, Arsenal actually lost Thomas Partey in that game midweek, and Darius Sturridge, a former Chelsea and Liverpool player, well, he believes the absence of Thomas Partey was the reason why they lost that game, and this is what he had to say after that match.
I feel like, personally, the yellow card for Partey, it proved costly this leg. It was no Partey, no party. When you look at how they defended within the game, he brings solidity, he brings that defensive awareness. I think Declan Rice on the ball tonight in phases was magnificent, driving forward with the ball. But on the other side, Merino's been playing false nine. So it is a unique thing we talked about before the game, about changing that tactical awareness and going, okay, I'm an attacker now. Now I have to focus on the defensive possibilities that I need to worry about. And I think for me, they lacked that solidity in the midfield.
Well, so Arsenal lacked some solidity in defense because of the absence of Thomas Partey. That is according to former Liverpool and Chelsea winger or forward Daniel Sturridge. Well, let me just pose this question to you, Teddy.
Yeah.
I mean, Partey is a very huge player for Arsenal. Do you think his return will be that changing factor for Arsenal in France?
I 100% agree. Yes.
Really?
I 100% agree.
What do you think he has to that team?
Oh, yes, because against Real Madrid we saw it. In times of danger, Partey will show up. Okay, he decides where the ball goes. He decides, hey, give it to me. I know where the ball goes. Hey, you wait. When you give me the ball, I know the time to give you the ball. And when you look at the Arsenal PSG game, the first leg, I think PSG were very good on the day. To me, they only played the game to its best in the first 30 minutes. Yeah, they were very dangerous whenever they were coming at Arsenal. In the first 30 minutes, PSG looked very dangerous as Arsenal was nowhere to be found. But from the 30th minute to the close of the first half, even into the second half, we saw Arsenal came into the game all right. But I think they lacked Thomas Partey in that game because the person to do your dirty works for you is not the end. Declan Rice, who was supposed to join Odegaard in attack, was now deployed to come and do the Partey work. And you know, the work Partey has been doing this season in the Champions League, especially against Real Madrid in both legs, I think we can't get the same from Declan Rice. And a 1-0 tie is overcomable. 1-0 tie is overcomable because I remember the 2019 PSG came to Man United and won 2-0. Yeah. Man United went there and knocked them out. 2021, when they were in the semi-final, they lost the first leg to Man City at their own backyard. When they came, I think they came for a draw. Man City beat them. So when it comes to this time, PSG are not that trusted. Even in Real Madrid's 2022 Champions League win, they won the first leg against Madrid in Parc des Princes. When they came to Bernabeu, they were even leading 1-0. And all of a sudden, Real Madrid over 10 things. So PSG are doing very well, but they are a team that you cannot trust. And I think Thomas Partey, when he comes back, Thomas Partey will be the deciding figure of the second leg. So we need to watch out for Arsenal. The game is not yet still over. If Arsenal are to get the first goal in that second leg, I think Arsenal can hit PSG.
Well, so that game is not over according to Teddy. Well, he's not the only one saying that. Paris Saint-Germain midfielder João Neves also believes there is a lot to play for in that second leg in France.
I think it was a very good game. We know that it's not the end. We know it left one game. We already as in the same position like Arsenal today against Liverpool. So we are ready for fights to win. The Premier League is a little bit physical, like I said a few times in the interviews. But in these moments we have to show our best, our capacity to win duels, to run a little bit more, to suffer for the team. Suffer for the PSG. So I think this kind of games is good for us to improve and to get us better.
Well, so that was João Neves speaking after that game between Paris Saint-Germain and then Arsenal. So that game is not actually over. Another game which is not over is that one between Inter Milan and Barcelona. Well, this midweek on Tuesday, Inter Milan will be battling it out with Barcelona. I mean, Jonathan, you look at that particular game, it was a surprising result. We've not seen Inter Milan concede 3 goals in a game this season in the UEFA Champions League. That happened in midweek. We've not seen Inter Milan score a lot of goals as well in a game this season. It happened. What happened in that game between Inter Milan and Barcelona? Because tactically both teams looked very different. So for that game to produce 6 goals, it tells you that something differently happened tactically.
So tactically, both clubs were set up very well by their coaches. But FC Barcelona conceded goals that they could have prevented from the start of the season. FC Barcelona have been conceding from set pieces. And the reason is, more times, attention on players who are going to get that clinical touches off. In the first goal that they scored, we'll give big times to Marcus Thuram. He was very, very clinical with that back heel touch to find the back of the net. And clearly that pass was from the left-hand side where Gerard Martin is. And if you're a Barcelona fan, you understand that playing Gerard Martin is more or less like playing with 10 players on the field. No disrespect to Gerard Martin, but his technical ability is not up there like Alejandro Balde. So Barcelona clearly were missing Gerard Martin in that tie against Inter Milan. And that's why the man of the match for that game was Denzel Dumfries, because Dumfries was also playing on that right-hand side, attacking so well, getting goals for Inter Milan. FC Barcelona conceded from a corner kick. FC Barcelona will concede from a header because their goalkeeper that they have after the game, even Wojciech Szczesny, was able to admit that clearly reading of the game from him is one thing that he found very difficult, and because of that, against Benfica, he conceded a penalty. Not only Benfica, in the Spanish La Liga against Celta Vigo, reading the game, he conceded a yellow card. So clearly, Barcelona conceded goals that they were not expecting. They conceded goals that prior to their games, they already conceded. The only thing that stand out for FC Barcelona on the day was when you are playing in the El Clasico, is a very different ball game altogether, because the energy from the blast of the whistle till 90 minutes, we see full passion, full El Clasico bragging right at play. But in the UEFA Champions League, the last time FC Barcelona played a game to score 3 against a highly defensive side, I don't remember. Inter Milan. But this season, Barcelona were able to get a win against Bayern away. This season, Barcelona were able to get a win against Real Madrid away, beat Benfica away in a high-scoring thriller. So scoring 3 goals, the goals did not just come from a tactical play. Their first goal came from what we call a generational move. Because if you're a Barca fan, clearly Inter Milan were ready to score that quick goals to defend. So Barcelona needed a spark of flame, someone to at least put them back on track to play something. Because we saw Pedri battling it out with 27-year-old Nicolo Barella in the midfield. We saw Denzel Dumfries stretching the wings of FC Barcelona. So they needed someone who is going to be that key player, because sometimes, I said it here 3 weeks ago, that the tie between Barcelona and Inter Milan, tactically Inter Milan has well shaped on the pitch. So Barcelona can win the game if only their individual brilliance of their key players come to play. And the first goal was pulled by who? Lamine Yamal. We have to watch that Italy versus Spain Euros. Federico Di Marco's worst nightmare in football history is who? Lamine Yamal.
And he did it again.
And he did it again against who? Federico Di Marco. Not only Di Marco. You see, Inzaghi is very good. 3 players were marking Lamine Yamal. Bastoni, DiMarco were all against Lamine Yamal, and clearly the reason why he was that standout player for FC. Mkhitaryan joining him,
and before he even started it on Thuram.
Yeah.
So clearly, Barcelona, in their history, whenever they find themselves wanting, they need someone, a savior. Because in terms of tactical play, no one can tell me that pressing game of Hansi Flick could have broken the defense line of that Inter Milan side. No. So they needed someone to outscore players, someone to at least dribble past 3-4 players before they will find the back of the net. Against Jan Sommer, he conceded goals, but he was making 7 saves in a game for Inter Milan. Who did that miracle? Lamine Yamal. That's what we call individual brilliance. Barcelona's third equalizer was from who? Rafinha. From the corner kick, a dummy pass from who? Lamine Yamal. An individual brilliance at play once again from Rafinha.
Don't we think it is actually a mistake from Jan Sommer, because it was an own goal eventually, that third goal. But then, of course, we have to credit Lamine Yamal for that dummy that led to the ball too.
But again, for me, I will blame the defenders too for Barcelona's first goal and the third goal. Yes, Barcelona's first and third goal. I'll blame the Inter defenders somewhere.
Yeah, with the first goal, of course, you could see that.
With the first goal, Rio Ferdinand can't even stop Lamine.
But then you see,
but I had about 3 players or 4 players.
I think
3 or 4 players.
Mkhitaryan was actually
they could have done something. They should have done something. And even if you watch Barcelona's third goal, I think the corner was a move to Rafinha, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
And you can't tell me the Inter defenders were waiting for the ball to get to Rafinha when they could have prevented that pass from getting to Rafinha.
So in that game, there were a lot of mistakes from the Inter team.
Yes.
Because even the second goal, you look at that ball from the middle, from Pedri. That's
Rafinha.
Rafinha.
He had it for Ferran.
I think they should have. Even all the goals, they could have prevented them. They could have prevented them.
Jan was actually asleep, because Ferran Torres had to come from behind him and then push the ball in. So it was really a game that presented us with 2 tactical approaches, but then still with some mistakes. Now, Teddy, let me come to you on this. Look, after what we saw in midweek, that is in the 3-3 game, how do you think these teams should be approaching the second leg? If there is any team that has the chance to go on and advance to the final, which team would that be?
For me, I will see Barcelona going forward, or Barcelona qualifying to the final.
Okay.
Per what I saw from the first leg, because to me, both coaches had their tactics right, but Inzaghi failed.
Okay.
But you can't believe in Barcelona 2-0 in the first half and just dash away the 2-0 lead.
Well, I mean,
by allowing Barcelona to come back.
Barcelona has been the team that has scored a lot of goals this season. In fact, as we speak, they've scored 40 goals in the UEFA Champions League.
But what happened to me, I think he failed. You can't believe it 2-0 at away, even though we knew they were coming for some kind of a draw or something. They were just avoiding defeat. You can't believe it Barcelona 2-0 and allow Barcelona to equalize all the 2 goals in the first half. And even in the second half, you took the lead again. It was not like Barcelona scoring the third before you equalizing. It was you that took the lead in the second half again. And again, you made Barcelona equalize. So from this, I think the second leg, Balde will be coming back. And Dumfries has a work to do, since Balde will be coming back. Lewandowski will be coming back. Therefore, the Inter defense must be on guard. And I think one thing that handicapped Barcelona from the first leg was when Koundé got injured. Yeah, I think.
But then they also had some injuries. Inter Milan had some injuries.
Yeah. Inter Milan also had. Lautaro never had a good game. If Lautaro had a good game, it would have been a different story. And then
also Marcus Thuram was not
fully fit.
Fully fit. And even this one Inter Milan's disallowed goal. If Mkhitaryan were having, I don't know. That was why before the game I said Barcelona should watch very carefully how they have been deploying their high line.
That disallowed
Inter
goal.
Milan, yes.
I felt it was a goal too.
Yes, it was a goal.
Well, I mean, because of technology.
Yes,
we would
it
have
was.
to agree
It was.
with
It was
with
a
that
goal.
line.
Yeah.
Mkhitaryan was having his foot there.
It was a goal.
But Kubasi too's hand was there.
Yeah.
Yeah. But then, that's the interpretation. The interpretation is that it is the first side of body that will be allowable for a goal. So the Kubasi's hand, when the ball hits it, it's not a goal. It will be a foul.
Yeah.
And then the leg or an appropriate side of the body that it hits a scoring part of the body, and so
So
I mean,
this interpretation we need UEFA to come back again. As a winger, please, we beg you amend this rule, please.
It's becoming too mechanical.
So, because you are trying to tell me that if the ball could maybe hits the hands of Kubasi, it would have been a penalty in the 18-yard box. But that same ball touching the foot of Mkhitaryan is an offside and out of play.
But then per the measurement as well, Mkhitaryan's foot was a little ahead of it. Yes. So, I mean, we have to understand that's how mechanical football has become.
So in continuation, going into the second leg, Inter Milan, I think before they qualified to the semi-final, they went to beat Bayern. When they were playing this return leg at home, Bayern took the lead. They were defending. They conceded the first goal
San Siro badly, 2 goals.
But at the point in time when they opened the game and attacked, they scored, they equalized and took the lead again.
And they will go and sit back and concede again.
You can understand them. They are managing the game. You are playing against a Bayern Munich team that scores a lot of goals.
So going into this second leg, Inzaghi must take the game to back. They shouldn't defend. If they are to sit back, Barcelona will hurt them. And Barcelona again must be very careful about the high line they have been playing. This time they are going away. And one team Inter should watch very carefully is about how they can deploy every means to tackle Lamine Yamal. Because if Yamal is to have a good game,
it will take the spirit of Vidic and maybe Maldini to tackle Lamine Yamal.
If that small boy is to have a good game, I think Inter will be laughing at the wrong side of their map.
Well, I mean,
good prophecy.
And so you think Inter Milan could be out of the competition at this stage?
If only they don't sit back too much. If they are to take the game to Barcelona.
All right, so let me just pick your Arsenal and then Paris Saint-Germain.
Paris Saint-Germain final.
PSG would go
into the final.
And then
FC
Milan,
Barcelona into the final.
So you're seeing
a Paris Saint-Germain Barcelona. Luis Enrique against his former club.
Okay, and then you think
as a Chelsea fan, PSG must go to the finals. And for Barcelona and Inter is an open game. Whoever wins.
Well, I mean, I wanted to ask your views on this. Do you think taking the away goal rule has not been the best thing? Because for Inter Milan to score 3
it's the best decision to me. It's the best decision. It's the best decision.
Okay, all right.
Because
if that is the case, why then don't we play just a one-off game at a neutral ground, and then that is it?
So the reason why the home and away fixture is the best is you have to give
every fan the opportunity
to enjoy his club at the home ground. But bringing in the goals, why do you want to tell me that Inter Milan scoring 3 goals is an advantage?
It's not an advantage anymore.
No. To me, they came over there to play. So previously, scoring 3 goals away is an advantage for the away club.
Yeah,
and there's no Barcelona can.
Because at the end of the day, they came there against every odds. They scored 3 goals. It should be an advantage. I'm not trying to say I support.
To me, that rule was one rule that eliminated most of this club from the UEFA Champions League.
Especially Chelsea versus Barcelona 209.
Yeah, but then at the end of the day, it still counts because
it shouldn't count in the game.
It should count because
I want to ask this question. Since it was removed, nobody complained about the away goal rule.
Yes. I've seen
so why, after Inter getting 3 goals against Barcelona, Thierry Henry and other pundits are talking about it? Why?
I've seen Thierry
because it's against Barcelona.
Inter scored 3.
But then Thierry Henry is a former player of Inter
Barcelona.
So then why are they making those comments? Why? Because I don't understand.
Because it's for me, I think it's understandable. In as much as I don't agree with what he says in entirety.
Or because you scored 3 goals at San Mamés.
No. That's for example. I mean, you win 3-0 at San Mamés. Now,
Bilbao comes
Old Trafford and wins 4-1. And you're telling me Bilbao cannot qualify to the final even after scoring 4? So that's the thing. So you're telling me
even after scoring 4 goals,
they can't qualify. Yeah,
that rule was total cheats
to me. But then if they in the same way, so now if they have scored 4 goals at Old Trafford, it should be enough for them to go to the final. Well, we'll still live to see how that pans out. But then, now let's move to the English Premier League. It's getting very interesting with regards to which teams finish in the top 4 of the Premier League. Now, one interesting thing is that even Arsenal are not safe in finishing in second position.
Yes.
Because the difference between them and Manchester City is now 3 points. Manchester City have played a game ahead, but then Arsenal will be playing today. Let's say if Arsenal loses, it means 3 points, which means it brings Arsenal also in the fight for a top 5 place. They might have their way to qualify at the end of the day, because even if it is as bad as it can be, they will still find a way of finishing at least top 4, because the difference between them and then the last team competing for a place in the top 5 is 7 points, and we have about 4 games to end the season, and so it's becoming interesting. But then this afternoon, Aston Villa are already leading Fulham 1-0, and that game is also a potential top 5 place competition. So as we speak, these are the games coming up in the English Premier League today. After that game between Aston Villa and Fulham, Everton will be facing Ipswich Town. Ipswich Town have already been relegated. Everton are also safe in the Premier League, but then they would want that 3 points to keep their place at a very good position under David Moyes. Now Leicester City and then Southampton will also be playing. This is a game for pride because they are all going back to the English Championship. But then there is some huge Ghanaian interest there. There is Jordan Ayew for Leicester City and Kamaldeen Suleimana for Southampton. Abdul Fattah Ishaku is actually working his way back into action. It is too late for Leicester City, but then he will definitely be a huge part of the team in the championship. Arsenal will be playing AFC Bournemouth later today in the English Premier League. For AFC Bournemouth, I mean, they are also looking at a chance of playing in Europe. They could end up playing in the Conference League if they are able to finish in a very good position. Tomorrow, Brentford will be playing Manchester United. Manchester United says, to hell with the English Premier League. Nobody cares with what is happening there. But then we shall see how that game also pans out. Brighton will be playing Newcastle United, a team that also wants to make it to Europe. West Ham United will be up against Tottenham Hotspur, with Mohamed Kudus also looking at, improving his goal scoring record. The big game is that game between Chelsea and Liverpool. Now, let's look at that game, Chelsea versus Liverpool. I mean, for Chelsea fans, I know how hard it's been for them this season. Looking at the fact that they started very, very well. At a point, they were considered one of the teams that could even end up winning the English Premier League. But today, they are fighting for their lives to make it into the top 5. The unfortunate thing is that even when they win the Conference League, they won't be playing in the UEFA Champions League, which is quite disappointing. Now, Jonathan, you look at Chelsea this season. I mean, people have spoken about the mentality of a manager like Enzo Maresca. How would you rate him this season with Chelsea?
4 out of 10.
4 out of 10.
Yes.
I mean, he's in the semi-finals of the Conference League. In fact, they won the first leg of that game
against Djurgården.
Yeah, Djurgården.
Djurgården in the Ghana Premier League will be playing against Pando Heart of Lions.
You have no idea what Djurgården is. You see, I keep telling you guys, this latter day saints. Djurgården produced Yusuf Chipsa. Djurgården produced Daniel Amate. Look. And back in the day, they were competing with AIK and then Malmo for laurels in the Swedish league. Yeah. So that's not disrespect.
But you see,
but then yes,
I won't buy players over 1 billion. I'll be competing with Djurgården and I'll be happy.
Yeah.
Because the standard of the Djurgården that you are talking of are falling off from the chips and
even if it's not falling, I mean Chelsea is Chelsea.
Yeah. hot starts ahead of their game against Liverpool. Maresca will be rating him 4 out of 10 because clearly, first season for Cole Palmer, he was the cornerstone for the club. Second season, they didn't have a tactician to at least map up a strategy to keep up the pace of Cole Palmer in the game, and because of that, we are calling the player a flop. But clearly, for players to be successful, they need a coach to map up a strategy to help them in their subsequent seasons when they come out with flying colours in one. Hot stats. Liverpool are unbeaten in their last 20 Premier League games in May since their 1-0 defeat at Stamford Bridge in 2018. The last time that they were defeated in May, they were defeated where? Stamford Bridge in 2018, 2019, 2020, 2021, 22, 23, 24. We are in 25. They are yet to lose a game in May. 16 wins, 4 draws. They are going to play against Chelsea again. In their last 5 meetings, Liverpool have won 2, draw 3 against Chelsea. Please, where are the Blues? They are yet to win against Liverpool in their last 5 meetings. They are going to play against Liverpool, and the sad thing is Liverpool are already the kings of the EPL. 60 points Chelsea 5th, 60 points Nottingham Forest 6th, 60 points Aston Villa 7th, 62 points Newcastle 4th, 64 for Manchester City, they are 3rd on the league log. Clearly Chelsea need the point so badly if only they want to compete in Europe. But the big question is, you'll be giving guard of honor to the Premier League champions. I don't think Ancelotti will be sitting there with Mo Salah, who wants to break records, to be defeated after getting the guard of honor from the Blues. To be very difficult. They won't give out the game so easily. So Liverpool are favourite to win this tie against Chelsea.
Really? So, all right. I mean, we have a Chelsea fan here. I mean, Chelsea have already won the league. They would want to. Liverpool actually have won the league, but then it's not over for Chelsea. Do you think that Liverpool will be heading into that game feeling relaxed? Maybe Ancelotti will be giving opportunities to new younger players for that game, because I mean, what they want from the season has already been won.
The evil that men do live after them. Yeah, in 2014, when Liverpool was on track to win the Premier League, they were prevented by
Chelsea.
Yeah, so now that Chelsea are on track to enter the top and play the Champions League, they have a test against Liverpool. And I'm sure if Liverpool are to be reminded of that clip, they will never take it kindly with Chelsea.
Interesting.
Yeah, and I think I have to blame Enzo Maresca, because giving away some points against Ipswich and Brentford is what is costing Chelsea now, and where Chelsea is now. I think he has to be blamed solely for Chelsea's downfall, because if he had taken the 6 points against those teams, I'm not sure we'll be here today. But I think Liverpool are already champions. Tomorrow we shall be giving them the guard of honor. So winning this game, I know they'll be chasing records as far as it is concerned, but I think Chelsea must do everything. They don't have anything to lose in this game. Chelsea need the 3 points to be on track to play in the Champions League. And there is this saying that anytime Chelsea is not playing the Champions League is not Champions League because of the fans we have here in Africa. Oh yeah. So I think Chelsea needs the 3 points tomorrow against Liverpool. So Enzo Maresca, please, tomorrow, do anything possible to get the 3 points for Chelsea.
Well, so that is from Teddy. He is pleading with Enzo Maresca to get all that 3 points for Chelsea. Well, there are games that will also be coming up in the Spanish La Liga and, of course, the Bundesliga. But then for the Spanish La Liga, it's quite interesting because Barcelona and Real Madrid are just separated by only 3 points. Now, talking about the games that will be coming up in the La Liga, already that game between Deportivo Alaves and Atletico Madrid is at halftime and the scoreline is 0-0. Villarreal will be playing Osasuna later today. Las Palmas are up against Valencia. Real Madrid will be facing Real Valladolid. Actually, they will be facing Barcelona. Unfortunately for Real Valladolid, they will not be having Ghanaian defender Joseph Edu in the team because of an injury. And on Sunday, Real Madrid will be facing Celta Vigo. Sevilla are up against Leganés. Espanyol will be facing Real Betis, with Athletic Club de Bilbao, who lost the first leg of their Europa League semi-finals 3-0 to Manchester United. They will be facing Real Sociedad in the Bilbao derby. That is a big game in that enclave. Away from Spain to the German Bundesliga, and Borussia Mönchengladbach will be facing TSG Hoffenheim. Bayern Munich could be declared champions today if they beat RB Leipzig in the Bundesliga. St. Pauli are up against VfB Stuttgart. So again, on Bayern Munich, it will be Hurricanes' first major title. Just imagine, after all these years, Hurricane is yet to win a major trophy. Now, Union Berlin will be up against Werder Bremen. Borussia Dortmund will be playing VfB Wolfsburg in Germany on Saturday. And on Sunday, the games continue with Wolfsburg hosting Kiel, champions, or the champions to be dethroned. Bayern Leverkusen will be up against Freiburg, and Mainz 05 will be taking on Eintracht Frankfurt in that one. And so Germany will be decided today, just like the election results. It could be Bayern Munich today. And finally, in the French League 1, Cagliari will be facing Udinese, Parma will be up against Como, Lecce are up against Napoli, the league leaders, and Inter Milan will be facing Hellas Verona tonight in the Italian Serie A. And so it's getting interesting in the Serie A as well. The games will continue tomorrow with some interesting fixtures to watch out for in the Italian Serie A. The rest of the games will see Empoli playing Lazio. Monza will be up against Atalanta. AS Roma, they are just unstoppable at the moment. They will be facing Fiorentina, and Bologna will be up against Juventus. So those are the games that will be coming up in Europe this week in the various league fixtures. Already it's declared in England, Liverpool are the champions. In Spain, it is between Real Madrid and Barcelona. And in Germany, Bayern Munich could be declared champions today. And in Italy, the battle will go down the wire. Well, before we leave the studio, I asked a very simple question today. Your top 5 best players this season, Jonathan?
My top 5 players: Ousmane Dembele, Lamine Yamal, Rafinha. I wanted to mention Mohamed Salah. He's in there 4.
Okay.
The final will be Hurricane.
All right, so those were the top 5 players for Jonathan from Europe this season.
I'm going with him.
The same thing. Ousmane Dembele.
Arguably, they are the best top 5.
Hurricane.
Yes. I'm going with
Mohamed Salah.
They are the best top 5 players.
They are the best 5 players.
They are the best
no Vinicius Junior.
No.
Kylian Mbappe. No Jude Bellingham.
No.
Also, there you heard it from my pandas. So thank you very, very much, guys. Jonathan Bensua and Teddy for making time with us this morning through to 1 p.m., which is this afternoon here on ZFM. Also, thanks to Larry, who was in the studio earlier for the Accra House of Folk and Kumasi Asante Kotoko discussion. Remember, tomorrow, the big game in Ghana, that is in the Ghana Premier League. That game between Accra House of Folk and Kumasi Asante Kotoko will be happening live at the Accra Sports Stadium. Well, it is bye-bye from us here in the studio. It's been another epic 2 hours of sports rally. My name is Lukman Evergreen Moment. Alright, so enjoy the rest of the programming here on Z101.9 FM. Of course, it is Sports Rally. Make sure you join us again next week for more sports updates and sports news. But then throughout the week, I will be with you on Business Breakfast on Z, where I give you the latest in the world of sports. And in the afternoon, Jonathan Bensua will also be giving you some updates. The UCL continues this week. It's been a lovely Saturday here on Z. Have a good day and bye-bye.